Bismack never imagined that silence could be louder than words. Not the silence of the night, not the silence of prayer, but the silence of a workplace that erased him in a single morning. There was no warning, no explanation, no goodbye. Only a locked gate, a revoked access card, and a future that disappeared before lunchtime. This is the story of a Filipino worker who gave everything he had to a job that promised stability only to be dismissed without notice, without dignity, and without mercy. This is the story of Bismack. He was born in a coastal barangay where the air smelled of salt and hardship, where mornings began early and ended late, where survival was a daily routine. His father went to sea before sunrise, casting nets into uncertain waters. His mother stood for hours in the market, selling vegetables under the heat, counting every coin with care. They were not rich, but they endured. Hunger was familiar, but hope was never completely absent. From a young age, Bismack understood that rest was a privilege and work was a necessity. When work stopped, everything stopped. School was never guaranteed, it was something earned through sacrifice. While other children dreamed of fame or fortune, Bismack dreamed of simple things. A home that didn't leak during the rainy season, a refrigerator that was not always empty, a mother who didn't need to calculate expenses again and again before buying rice. As he grew older, reality pressed harder. Local jobs paid little and demanded much. Opportunities were scarce and competition was brutal. So when the overseas job offer arrived, it felt like a lifeline. The conditions were harsh, the hours were long, and the contract promised nothing except work. But the salary was paid in foreign currency, and that alone was enough to change the course of his life. The night before he left the Philippines, his mother packed his clothes, slowly folding each shirt, as if delaying the inevitable. Every item she placed in his bag carried silent prayers. His father watched quietly from the doorway, and before Bismack left he spoke just once: "Be strong, even when no one is watching." When Bismack arrived in the foreign city, the cold was immediate. Not just the temperature, but the atmosphere. Everything moved fast. Faces were unfamiliar, languages blended into noise. He shared a cramped room with other migrant workers, each carrying their own story of sacrifice and desperation. Different countries, different accents, the same exhaustion. Work began before sunrise and ended long after sunset. 12 hours standing, 12 hours lifting, carrying, obeying. Safety rules were spoken but rarely enforced. Supervisors smiled when inspectors came and turned cold when they left. Complaints were treated like weakness. Silence was rewarded. Bismack adapted. He never complained. He stayed late. When others rested, he followed instructions carefully, even when they made no sense. He believed hard work would protect him. He believed loyalty was noticed. He believed effort was enough. Every month he sent money home. Each transfer paid school fees, medical bills, and groceries. Each transfer was proof that the sacrifice was worth it. His family depended on him, and that responsibility became his strength. But unseen beneath his obedience was a system that never intended to protect him the day everything. And it began like any other. There were no signs, no warnings, no unusual tension. Bismack clocked in, took his position, and worked, as he always did. Before noon, security guards approached him. There was no meeting, no explanation, no conversation, only 3 words spoken without emotion: "You are done." His access card stopped working instantly. His locker was sealed. A supervisor stood nearby, avoiding his eyes, pretending not to see him, the place he had devoted his body and time to erased him without hesitation. Bismack walked out of the building, slowly, unsure of what had just happened. The sun outside felt unfamiliar, as though it belonged to a different world. He checked his phone again and again. No messages, no missed calls, no instructions. How do you tell your family that the reason they survive has just been taken away? That night, he sat on his bed without turning on the light. He counted his savings carefully: rent, food, transportation, visa fees. Every number was a threat. Every calculation ended the same way. Time was running out. Sleep did not come easily, because sleep requires peace, and peace had been taken from him. Without warning, fear filled the room, heavy and relentless. The silence he once trusted now suffocated him. The days that followed were worse than the day he was fired, because unemployment did not come with rest, it came with panic. Every morning Bismack woke up early out of habit, then remembered he had nowhere to go. He searched for jobs online, walked through industrial areas, asked fellow workers, quietly afraid of being reported rejection. Became routine. Some places never replied, others asked for documents he could not provide. Without a sponsor, money disappeared. Faster than he expected, meals became smaller, then optional. He lied to his family, telling them work was slow, telling them overtime was reduced because he could not bring himself to say the truth. Nights grew longer, the room colder, the future darker. There were moments he sat alone, questioning his worth, wondering how years of loyalty could end without a reason, wondering if his life was disposable simply because he was foreign. There were nights he considered sleeping outside to save rent days. He survived on bread and water, moments when pride dissolved into survival, but even in that darkness something refused to die. A quiet strength born from every sacrifice that brought him there. One evening, another Filipino worker noticed him sitting alone and asked, no questions, only shared food. That small act reminded Bismack that he was not invisible to everyone. Through community connections, he found temporary work, not stable, not secure, but enough to breathe again. He learned his rights, learned how many others had suffered the same fate, learned that his story was not rare, it was common. Slowly, Bismack stood back up, not with anger, but with resolve. He did not become rich, he did not become famous, but he survived. Months later, he returned home, thinner, quieter, changed. His mother cried, not because he failed, but because he endured. His father hugged him longer than ever before. Bismack realized then that his value was never defined by a company badge or a supervisor's approval. It was defined by the sacrifices he made, the love he carried, and the strength to continue even when discarded. His story ends not with revenge, but with truth, that behind every migrant worker is a human being, not a number, not a contract, not a tool. And though the system tried to erase him, Bismack remained, standing, breathing, alive, and that alone was his victory.